back why we're in this situation. Um, we did cancel the fireworks at the fairgrounds because we canceled the PBR rodeo. We were going to shoot them off at the fairgrounds without a crowd. So I want to make it clear to everyone that we were doing this without a audience at the fairgrounds. They were going to park in the desert like they usually do. We have anywhere between 45,000 and 50,000 people that park in the surrounding areas in their cars that remain in there. We also closed down the parking lots at the fairgrounds so they wouldn't park there. I can't see how this is a health order and how we would violate it in any way, because we took all that into consideration when we did this. Number two, this is an order that has come down, and it hasn't come down by the elected officials. It's come down by their to do something because, in my opinion, they're afraid to make that choice to do it. We are not represented up here in Lancaster in various reasons. A lot of you know that I sit on the different transportation boards. I sit on different functions that we get money for. We get about 17 cents on the dollar up here in the Antelope Valley. So every dollar the Antelope Valley ships out, we get about 17 cents of that back. We're not getting our representation. It's a different light up here in the Antelope Valley. We have the ability, we have the space. Very few cities have 95.5 square miles of area to shoot off fireworks in. And I think we can do that with social distancing with 95.5 square miles. So this is, to me, our portion of the Boston Tea Party. This is us without the representation that we should be getting. This is something that we should be celebrating, and we should be celebrating the 4th of July. Now, the illegal fireworks, I've had it with the illegal fireworks. I've had it with them ad nauseum, and I understand what a lot of people are saying about the illegal fireworks. I see them at my house nightly. I see them late in the evening, and I wish there was more we could do about it, but it's not, and this is why we do that. We do not do the safe and sane fireworks like some of the other cities do because of the safety of our citizens, and especially this year because of social distancing. There's so many good reasons why we should be doing this. And Rex, don't you do that? Is it Carthronics or something that, aren't they specialized in this?
Well, I'm the president of Carthronics, which is a biotech company, and we have numerous drugs getting ready to go into human trials. One of those drugs, there is every reason to believe will stop the cytokine storm, which causes people to die from COVID-19. I mean, it's not like we don't know. What I'm saying is the scientists that work for us at Carthronics are probably the most advanced people in the country on this subject. And in addition to that, we have Dr. Larry Stock, we have Dr. Trong, we have the epidemiologist. I mean, we have spent a lot of time and resources developing a plan to have an Independence Day celebration that exposes no one to risk. And then at the last minute, some lower level functionary in the Department of Health sends out a memo saying that it's canceled. That's not the democracy that I learned about in school. But Allison, tell me if I'm wrong. Has any public official had a vote to say we can't do this?
No, we have health orders from the health official who, by virtue of the State of California's Health and Safety Code, during the outbreak of a communicable disease, has the ability to issue orders to other governmental agencies.
I seriously question the constitutionality of that. I'm more concerned about the total abdication of elected officials' willingness to take responsibility for these decisions. There was no reason in the world this couldn't have been put before a vote of the Board of Supervisors. There's no reason in the world that the governor couldn't have issued an order if he thought it was that serious of a matter. We cannot give up our democracy to people we've never seen, never heard of, have no communication with, especially as something as important as this, when we absolutely know we can do this safely. And before we vote, I'd like to hear from Larry Stock if he's on. Is he on?
Larry, you're muted.
Larry, are you still
there
at barbecue?
Yep. Yes, Mayor, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Barbecue over?
Not over, but I left. So my opinion regarding the health effects on this, just in terms of fireworks safety, is that just what Marvin was talking about. When people don't have public fireworks, they tend to overuse and misuse their own personal fireworks, which are dangerous. And we see accidents every year where people have caused burn injuries and also blast injuries that can affect people's sight, their hands, their face. Can be very dangerous. So the idea of having safe public fireworks is a way of celebrating safely Independence Day in the United States, and a way of keeping people safe and avoiding overuse or misuse of personal fireworks. So I think that is a positive health factor for why to move forward with public fireworks.
I want everybody to know who doesn't know, this is Dr. Larry Stock. He actually was on the ground in Africa during the Ebola crisis. He knows more about this sort of thing than I think anybody alive, and was actually on the ground treating these people. He's also our deputy mayor of public health, and the next meeting I will be doing I'll have on the agenda to make you the director of public health for the city of Lancaster. There is some dispute as to whether or not we're going to need concurrence from the legislature for that. If we do, we'll seek it. But you will be the director of public health. I just don't know the level of authority that you will have in regards to the county. I want people to understand, public health until last night has never talked to me, never once. They knew this was coming. They knew what we wanted to do, and they just decided that they get to be the king. Well, they do not get to be the king. And if somebody were to give us a rational reason with factual and scientific support, we would consider it, and we would talk to them about it, and we would try to find a way to say yes to the celebration. And if there was no way, we would say no. But that's not what they did. Rather than do the work of looking at each city's plans to do the presentation and see if you could do it with social distancing, they just with one brush decided by fiat to say, we're canceling 4th of July. Now, I'm not going to engage in any discussion as to why somebody thinks it's a good idea to cancel the 4th of July, but I am going to say that this is America, and no one gets to do that. And we are not facing an emergent situation that we don't know anything about at this point. That was 3 months ago. It's not an emergency anymore. It's just a crisis. There's a difference. And I don't think the emergency powers at this point even come into play. I mean, I think they're really abusing that. I'm also concerned that it's done at the last minute. Everything, how they have managed this crisis has been at the last minute, time after time after time. Look at the other things they're doing with this. We have restaurant owners in this city had to throw out all of their food, all of it, shut down along with everybody else. Then they say you can reopen. So now they have to go buy that food again. And so they did. They all restocked. 2 weeks later, another emergency saying you got to throw it all out. First of all, everybody knew there was going to be a surge, especially when we had thousands of people in the street, many of them without masks. There was nothing unknown about this. It was absolutely predictable that this was coming along, but they want to keep holding on to this Office of Emergency Management so that all of our constitutional and democratic protections have evaporated. I'm telling you guys, we can do this with absolute safety. I'm not 100% sure that we are on solid legal footing, but I'm more convinced that we have the high ground on this than they do. I don't think that that we as an elected body can just abdicate our obligations, assign them to an employee, and say this is the person that makes the decisions. That's absolutely irresponsible. It is not the democracy I learned about in school. And I'm asking you to take a stand and say, look, there's rules, there's laws, there's constitutional procedures. When you don't follow them, we don't have to obey them. Now, at the end of the day, we could be wrong, but that is my opinion of it. The other concern I have, Allison, and I really think we need to look at the legal ramifications of this. The fire department is telling us that they're not going to be there to help, that they're not going to be there to put out fires, that they're not going to be there to ensure the public safety. That is reprehensible, and that is not the firemen I know. That is not the firemen that work in Lancaster or the Antelope Valley. I don't know one of them that would say something like that. And if that's what the chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department is saying, we have to really look at whether or not the legal ground and legal basis for that. The fire department has an obligation to issue permits if it's safe and if it follows the established laws in the fire code. It's not optional. They don't get to pick and choose who gets a pass to do it. It's ministerial at that point. They've now taken a health department directive. They're all part of the LA County bureaucracy. And the health department doesn't want us to have a fireworks demonstration. So they tell the fire department, don't give us a permit. I'm happy to put that in front of the Court of Appeals or a judge or the state Supreme Court or the US Supreme Court. That is reprehensible. And, I think Catherine Barger is one of the finest supervisors in this country. I really do, bar none. And she has to look at this. She has got to put a stop to this. These people have to do their jobs. And so next week, what I'm going to be asking this council is to explore ways for us to just break away from anything to do with public health. I want an explanation from the fire department as to what possible rationale they have for using firefighting and the fire codes to enforce a public health order, which is probably illegal in the first place. It's unfortunate that we're having to be the ones to take this up and to fight for these fundamental rights, I believe. But somebody has to do it, and we've been here before, and we've been successful before. I have every reason to believe we will be successful this time. And before I shut up, I want to be absolutely clear. There is no crowds. There is no assembly of people. And that's what this health order talks about. That's all it talks about. They do not want people congregating either in an enclosed space or an open space. That is not going to happen here. And I'd also like to remind the citizens of Lancaster that we were the first city that required face masks. And we were ready to go to war over that. We were the first city, long before there was an emergency of any kind, that reached out to all of the churches and asked them to stop shaking hands in church, to stop having the congregants touch each other in church, that we knew this epidemic was coming. And we knew we had to start exercising safe precautions. And as a result, our mortality rate is lower than anyone else's. And what is significant about that is, let's remember something. We have the greatest percentage of minority population of any city in Los Angeles County. Any city. Our minority population is a greater percentage of it. And yet we have the lowest mortality and infection rate. And the reason I say that is because the news is just filled with all kinds of stories about how this is adversely affecting the minority population. And it is, make no mistake about it, it is. But that is not true in Lancaster. And if ever we should have the highest infection rate, and yet we have the lowest infection rate. And you know, this concern that public health I'm disgusted with public health, because we have the highest mortality rate for preventable diseases other than COVID-19, and we have for 20 years. For 20 years. Where is their concern? Where is their help? What can you tell us one thing that they have done? Actually, Catherine Barger has done some remarkable things in the last 2 years. But let's remember this. We have the highest concentration of minority population anywhere. Yet all of that money is being held by public health down in Los Angeles. You know, for you people from public health that are listening to this, we have lost confidence in you. We have no confidence in you. We think that you have abandoned us. We think that you have made decisions that have resulted in literally thousands of people in the Antelope Valley dying. And it's your statistics that confirm that because of your neglect. So you'll forgive us if we've hired our own medical personnel, and if we are taking care of ourselves, because for the last 20 years, you have abandoned us. And we have paid the price, and we have stopped paying that price, so get used to it. Now, we're going to have a great show, folks. It is going to be the best fireworks show. I just got back from the Lancaster Soccer Center where we're doing it. We've got the shells that they're using go really high up, so you really don't have to even come to the area. If you're in Lancaster, you're going to be able to see this. If you're on the east side, you're going to have a perfect show. I'm sorry that this is such a downer, because it should be a time of great celebration. And as soon as this meeting is over, it will be. Now I'm going to turn it over to the council, and I will figure out a way to stop talking.
Mayor, I'll go next. So thank you so much for the share, because I think some people are a little bit confused about the original health order. The frustration on my part is, again, when, as you already said, the blanket brush, you know, not looking at statistics, assuming that the only way that you could do a fireworks show, I'm going to make an assumption here, is that you're going to have to do it with crowds and crowds of people, not realizing that, maybe there's another way to do it. And again, you know, I hate to be demeaning here, specifically the health director for LA County, she's not a PhD from a licensed physician. She is a head doctor. So if we check her credentials, again, I would question her caliber next to our official, I guess now what we're going to have, a new health director. I'd like to do a compare and analysis there. But again, too, and I have another take too. You talk about being safe. when we've got all this illegal fireworks going on, usually when people do that, what their goal is to try to impress all their friends. And usually what that means is large gatherings. So here we're given another opportunity to be even more safer. And again, because you got people that just do not have, they just don't have enough common sense. And that's our problem. We've got people that have been given these responsibilities and they can't think through a directive to understand the ramifications, and they just blanketly just make assumptions. As I came on, I just want to say something. I appreciate you bringing up the restaurants. When I came on, I spoke about this was a week from hell for me. Wednesday, when we got that order, listening to, I'm responsible for about 100 restaurants. And again, feeling sorry for all these independent restaurant owners, again, throwing food away, telling employees to go home. And again, no common sense whatsoever. And then again, they get their darn check. I get so frustrated. They get their check and they're making big time 6 figures. And you've got somebody that's possibly, my understanding statistically, the average restaurant owner has 27 days worth of money in the bank prior to COVID. So think in terms of these crazy, unthoughtful directive orders. And here we are trying to be the safest. So with that, I'm going to be quiet.
Mr. Mayor, may I say something? Pretty much all of you guys covered everything about, totally makes sense. About, I think the safest way is do it the way we're doing it. If people are doing illegally out there, like in other cities, it's not safe. It's like I think the way we're doing it is safer. And plus, it means people, I was born in India and I immigrated here. So what I wanted to, where I'm going with this is, it means so much to me, Independence Day. Every day I look forward to it with my kids. And if we are doing a safest way, the way we're handling it, I don't know why it's so wrong, what's wrong with it, why it's illegal. So I think it's totally, if the way we handling it, I think it's okay. I mean, I think it's the best way to do it. So with that saying, I think I'm with all this.
Can everyone hear me? I'm having connection issues. I want to make sure I can be heard. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you, but it's suspiciously looking like you're driving faster.
No, I'm not. I'm parked. Trust me.
Okay.
I am in the car. I want to say this. My vocation and occupation is a pastor. With that being said, one of my biggest gripes that I had with the governor was specifically what you were saying, Rex, is that we never had a conversation. I was being forced and told. And in America, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a democracy. It's supposed to be a conversation. And we're supposed to have conversations about what can we do to make things right. We have the right to disagree. We have the right to protest. We have the right to speak out. And anything that feels tyrannical, feels like tyranny, we have the right to rebel against it. With that being said, yourself and I, we had strong conversations about what was just going on. And it is amazing that with all of the protesting that happened with the stay-at-home orders, everybody was allowed to exercise their constitutional right. We didn't see a lot of social distancing, but we did see people wearing masks. We did see a lot of things that the governor said was detrimental to our health, but they allowed the people to do it. So this doesn't make sense to me, that if we're allowing people to stay in their cars, we're keeping the distancing, we're doing everything that we've been told to do, And I trust Dr. Larry Stock. As many of you know, my mother-in-law just got out of a major surgery. And our health director, I'm calling it now. The Bible says, speak those things that are so now as though they are. Dr. Larry Stock was excellent. AV Antelope Valley, I'm giving a shout out to our hospital, was excellent in their care. So I have utmost confidence in what Dr. Stock says. And if he says that the way we are doing it is the proper way and the excellent way and a safe way, I believe in what we're doing. I have no bones as a pastor with when the Bible tells us to obey the law, but it also tells us to live our conscience and to make sure that things are done in the right way. And I am with this all the way. This is, to me, overstep, overreach, overboard. I believe our city is unique in its distancing, where we are placed from Los Angeles. That is a very excellent point that you made with all of the minorities that are up here. I pastor a 98% African-American church, and I've been very careful in our reopening procedures and process. We've had several deputy mayors come to speak to our people on how to have service the proper way. And if we're doing everything we can, and then to come on top of this at the 23rd hour to say, oh, I've changed my mind, I decided, no, we can't do it. That is very unfair, and it seems tyrannical, and it seems like tyranny. And I believe we have the right to step up and say, hey, where we are and where we are in our numbers, where we are in our positioning within California, we are unique, and you should treat us as unique. And so I stand with the mayor and the council in our decision. I want us to, whether people want to celebrate or not celebrate, that should be our decision, not somebody sitting on the throne acting as a king and acting as a dictator and telling us that we have no choice in the matter and not speaking to the leaders of the citizens that they have elected to speak for them to say, what do you think? I think that is very wrong. I don't do that as a pastor with my members. God asks us to pray and talk to him, even though he knows what we need. He says, I still want you to tell me. So I'm all for this. I'm all with it. And I'm all for the fight. So I've already instructed people that, hey, if you see me, something go down, your pastor is fine.
Thank you, Daryl. You know, this thing is going to go on for 2 years, maybe 3, unless we get a vaccine. And if we get a vaccine, it'll only go on for another year. Now, are they really going to say this is an ongoing emergency? You know, I mean, seriously, this is no longer an emergent situation. It is a terrible crisis that we have to deal with and that we are dealing with. But the emergency powers that they're shoving down our face, that went away a couple months ago. Emergencies are something that are short-lived. You adjust, and then you start making decisions according to the democratic process. And I would submit to all of you that they have failed in that, and it's time they fix that. Before I open it up to everyone, because we have a bully pulpit here with all of the press listening, you know, you have all heard that we are this bastion of racism and that we all a bunch of white separatists, and you know, the stories go on and on. The fact is something much different. We are about 60% minority population, about 60%. And we do not get anywhere near that in federal, state, or county funding in minority programs. We have had to make do with nothing. And as a result, the people that money was intended to help go without. You know, I would really like to see the media take a look at this, because we have been mistreated. We have been on our own. Well, they want us to be on our own. Okay, we're on our own, but that means we will make our own laws. Now, I imagine, Andrea, there's a lot of questions, and I would like to open it up before we vote.
So
Okay.
we do need to take public comment. Andrea, can you do your announcement, please?
Sure. At this time, anyone wishing to comment on MB1, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your telephone number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time.
Andrea, I want to limit public discussion to 90 seconds instead of the 3 minutes, because I got to get out there and make certain the show goes on.
Okay.
Thanks.
And that is consistent with the council's policy that we can change the duration of public comment in those situations where it is warranted, as announced by the mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you, Andrea.
Okay. So caller with the last four digits, 4618. You may speak now. State your name.
Good evening. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Luis Haro. I'm a recent graduate of UC Hastings College of the Law and a Lancaster resident, and I urge the Council to vote against this item. Although I agree that the state and county officials should respect Lancaster's autonomy as a charter city, I think there are better ways to celebrate our country. We must especially consider that fireworks can be harmful to those who we owe our freedom, veterans with PTSD. Considering that the firework display will happen in an area where they've never been done before, many individuals will not have sufficient notice to avoid these massive fireworks. I also believe that the $30,000 allocated towards this event could be better spent in other ways, namely to better fund mental health services. The short notice of this meeting also goes against the spirit of the Brown Act. The Brown Act creates a deliberative process so that the public can inform decisions on how to spend public dollars. The rush to rush this non-emergency item in this manner creates a potentially dangerous precedent. And last I checked, the agreement wasn't available online, and there's no staff report that discusses the safety precautions being taken to protect against COVID-19. Now, I had more to say. I was hoping for 3 minutes, but I guess in conclusion, I have to apologize for, being a 4th of July Grinch. But, one of the biggest blessings in this country is that I'm able to participate in this exercise in self-government on 4th of July. And I urge my council members to do what is right. Lancaster staff is second to none, and I know they can pull this off, but the public deserves to know the details. So in conclusion, please focus on your efforts to save lives, not saving fireworks. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate those comments. They're valid. They're a difference of opinion, but they're certainly valid. I do want to clarify, however, that IBEW Local 11 is paying for the fireworks. They have been very generous, and it will not cost the city anything for the show. Let's continue.
Mr. Mayor, this is Vice Mayor Christ. I have a request from Tom Sullivan, which is the Assistant Fire Chief in our area, to speak. Can he speak?
Sure.
I think Andrea has to recognize him.
If you would press *9 so I can recognize your telephone number.
Marvin, have him text you with whatever so that we can get him on without delaying. Let's go to the next person, and then I'm happy to have him speak.
Thank you.
Okay, caller with the last 4 digits, 9479. Please state your name.
Yes, my name is Ellen Quillen. I have an objection to putting on the fireworks show. I think it's the wrong message to send to people to ignore regulations and prohibitions and things put out by the county health department or the governor. You may disagree with the rules and regulations, but I think it's the wrong message to just ignore them. You send that message to people that do illegal fireworks. Well, I want to do them. I'm just going to ignore the regulations. My family has been through hell the past month and a half with the illegal fireworks. My son has mental illness. He's been driven close to suicide for this past month. So I think it sends the wrong message to just ignore regulations, even if you don't like them. You know, you're supposed to follow them. And saying that protesters get to go out there and protest and gather and not wear masks, that is wrong also. They should not be doing that. They should be doing it properly. And to say, well, I'm going to have fireworks and just pretend it's a protest, that's saying, well, the other, something that you should have learned when you were a child, not to do something wrong or unsafe just because other people are doing it.
Thank you. You know, I want to be clear on this. I've been a lawyer a long time. I do not think that that employee of the public health department's memo that he sent out, canceling 4th of July, is a legal ordinance in any way, shape, or form. I just don't. And the council doesn't. It was not voted on by the Board of Supervisors. It was not an issue. It was not an order by the governor. The governor's order, we are complying with. There is going to, I mean, we're not opening anything for these people to see the fireworks. We've shut off Lancaster Soccer Center. There's no place to park except along the streets. Just so everybody is clear, we are not taking the position that we are disregarding a valid law. We are taking the position that it is an invalid law that all of the elected officials except us have refused to look at and refused to take responsibility for making a decision. We are the only elected body that has made a decision about whether or not this is a valid order. It is not. That's just the way it is. No one should leave this meeting thinking we're saying that we think this is a valid order that we are just going to ignore. It's not. If the Board of Supervisors had voted on it, if the governor had actually issued an order saying we couldn't do it, we would look at that differently than how we've looked at this. And you know, when I contacted the LA County Public Health, and you know, I guess I did send them a snarky letter. I shouldn't have done that. And she responded. She was unable to show me anything where an elected official made a rule that we couldn't have 4th of July fireworks. As far as the public health issue, you know, fireworks, when they blow up, they're really hot. And Larry Stocks tells me that'll kill the virus. It is not the fireworks that is a danger. It's if people socially congregate without their masks. We're preventing that.
Rex, can I also say that it's also the spirit in how this was passed. You see how we're having this. We're having the discussion. We're having the vote. We're including the public. We're letting them know what we're doing. None of that was given to us. And if I remember correctly, in the beginning of this, you're saying that you are tired of people speaking for us, and they're not even contacting us and asking us what is our situation in our area. Am I correct in that, or am I misquoting?
You are correct.
All right.
You are correct. As soon as
so this is just the straw that's breaking the camel back with us. We're tired of them speaking for us and not speaking to us.
That's right. As soon as the fire chief is available, I'm happy.
He is available. Andrea, the last 4 digits are 5886.
Okay. He is unmuted now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Greatly appreciate you giving me the time just to make sure we set the record straight with your fire department, with the LA County Fire Department in the Lancaster area. I had heard a little bit of conversation earlier regarding, and I just want to set the record straight, your LA County Fire Department is there for you 365, 24/7, whatever the response, whatever the emergency is going to be. We are there to support our citizens out here in Lancaster, whatever it may be. So when I had heard that we will not be responding to any incidents regarding the said fireworks show, that is incorrect. We are there to respond to any emergency, to any fire, to any injury, to any illness at all times. So I just want to make sure with the City Council, your fire department and me as your fire chief, I am always here for you. Your firefighters that protect our city, we are always here for you. So I just want to make sure that we understand your fire department is always going to be there. We will respond to any kind of emergency, any fire, any incident that goes on if this moves forward, and we are always there for you guys. I just want to set the record straight, Mr. Mayor.
No, I'm glad you did. Can we have a unit out there just in case something goes bad?
Well, we will be monitoring. We have, as you well know, with the Lancaster area of all of Southern California and LA County, we are maxed out on all of our augmented staffing. So we have several units out there in the Lancaster, Palmdale, the whole AV and the unincorporated area today. So there will be numerous response vehicles if there is an emergency that arises.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Tom.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. At this time, if there is anyone else wishing to speak on MD1, please press *9 now. I do not see anyone else. Wait, hold on. One person just came in. Call-in user 1. Please state your name. Call-in user 1, please state your name.
April Day.
You may begin.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm the location. I know there were 2 locations, the soccer field as well as there was another location. So just as a citizen of this valley and also a nurse at Palmdale Regional and for the city of Los Angeles, I think it's a great idea that we are still celebrating our country. I think it'll be safe if everybody remains in their vehicles. And so I just wanted to confirm the location because I do plan to attend and I wasn't sure the exact location.
It will be at the Lancaster Soccer Center at Avenue L and 20th Street East. Now,
30th.
It's great having, what?
30th.
30th? Is that why I had trouble finding it? All right. 30th Street East, I'm sorry. And if you're a nurse and you come to the gate, we'll be happy to let you in just in case we need you.
Okay, perfect. I'll make sure to bring both of my badges. I work for both for the city of Los Angeles and Palmdale Regional, so I will be there making sure I have both of my forms of identification.
That's wonderful. Make sure you have a mask on. So I don't need to tell you.
Yes, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Thank you so much. What happened?
Just to confirm the time, I'm sorry, I didn't get the time of the show.
It'll start at 9 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great 4th.
Rex, this is Paul Chappell. Can I say a word?
Paul, you can say anything you want, ever.
All right, I pressed the code, but it wasn't going through. So I just want to say this is Pastor Paul Chappell from Lancaster Baptist Church. I've pastored in this valley for 34 years. I've most recently been serving on the LA County Economic Resiliency Committee. I so appreciate the effort of our mayor and city council to keep our economy strong and to keep the spirits of our people strong. There has been a sense amongst so many people that freedoms are being eclipsed. Whether that is reality or perceived is for another discussion, but I think to express our love for country is very healthy. And I just want to thank you for accommodating that. It's being done at a last minute. Some have said that's because you received word at such a late hour. And I have studied the matter as well. And I agree that this can be done safely and legally. I want to commend our mayor publicly for the amazing leadership you have given to encourage churches like ours with over 9,000 members to wear masks, to avoid physical contact. And we're a church that is also reflecting the demographic of this community. And we have taken thousands of temperatures before people have come into our services. Not one fever has been identified. people have safely and in small numbers worshiped. And I just know that the need to express right now, whether in worship or in a patriotic sense, is a need in our community. And so I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to express what we feel when we think about the Declaration of Independence. The practice of pursuing life, liberty, and happiness in this city is a blessing. I thank you for the courage, and I believe it's going to be a wonderful event. And I just wanted to go on record. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, is that it, Andrea?
I don't see anyone else that has expressed the desire to speak at this time.
Okay, now I'm willing to open it up to questions from the press if there's anybody that has any questions. I guess we should vote first, and then I'll open it up to them. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Let's vote.
City Council Member Doris?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
City Council Member Doris?
Yes.
Molly?
Councilmember Molly, we didn't hear you. You're muted.
Yes.
Man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Thanks.
All right, thanks, bye.
Councilmember Mann?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be a yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes. It's unanimous, passes. Let's make certain that we get that contract signed, given to the vendor with the permit in it, and let's move forward. If I end up arrested over this, I would appreciate your cards and letters. Okay. Do I have anything else, Allison?
We need to take public comment on non-agendized items.
Okay. Is there any public comment on non-agendized items?
At this time, anyone wishing to speak or comment on non-agendized items, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your telephone number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Please be advised that we, City Council, may not take action on items not listed on the agenda. Please press *9 now.
Andrea, I think the deputy mayor would like to speak.
Okay. Yeah, you may speak. You're unmuted.
Thank you very much. I just would like to add one other comment. This time of year, we tend to have tragic accidents with small children in backyard swimming pools with drownings. I want to urge parents and owners of pools who have small children around to be extra vigilant this summer, and in particular this weekend, in making sure those children are not left unattended and anywhere near the swimming pool to prevent a drowning. There's nothing more tragic than seeing a healthy child have a bad outcome. Thank you.
Larry, would you define unattended as out of eye contact?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. That means you have to have eye contact on them. Otherwise, it takes that long. Thank you, Larry. Okay, I want everybody to be aware at the next council meeting, we will have Larry Stock on the agenda to be appointed as the Director of Public Health. If the
Mayor
county...
Paris, we need to make sure there weren't any other public comments as well before we wrap.
Were there?
I don't know.
At this time, anyone else wishing to speak on non-agendized items, please press *9 now.
Now, if any of the press have any questions they'd like to ask any one of us, we're available now. Now's your time. Not hearing any. We'll do. Is there one? I'm sorry.
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Who's this?
I'm good. I'm doing good. My name is Jason. How are you doing, sir? So I have a question. Is there a fireworks show going on in the Antelope Valley this evening, legally?
Yes, there is.
Okay, fantastic. Where is it being held at?
It's at 30th Street at Avenue L at the Soccer Center.
Oh, fantastic.
Which I would like to point out is the world's largest soccer center.
Okay, great. I have Corinne on the phone, which is my mom. Say hi, Corinne.
Hi there. How are you?
We're great. How are you, Corinne?
Good. I was wondering, we live in Rancho Vista, west.
No, I know where it is.
Rancho Vista West.
She basically wants to know from where she's at how to get to the soccer field.
Oh, just go up to Avenue L, turn right, go up to 30th Street, and it's right there. You'll see it. But you really don't have to go that far. You know, anywhere within 5 miles is going to be adequate.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you, or not seeing you, but we're looking forward to a great show.
Wonderful.
What time do you know? You know what time?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
By the way, everyone's driving to you guys from all over the Southern California area. You're going to have a huge turnout, guys.
Perhaps we could figure out a way to block off the freeway.
You're awesome. You are the mayor, correct?
I am the mayor, and everyone should realize this. We are as serious as a heart attack about wearing your masks. Do not get out of the car without a mask. All right? This is real easy, folks. Larry told me I can go get my hair cut as long as both people are wearing a mask, that they're wearing gloves, and we don't touch our face. 3 rules. That's all we have to do. Now that's really hard because, you know, just yesterday I went into the drugstore and I didn't have my mask on because I forgot to put it up when I got out of the car. We have to remind each other.
It's true. Very true.
Break the rules. We have to remind each other. We have to love each other. And we can get through this, and we will be better and stronger than ever. I believe that to the core of my being. We just have to quit acting like stupid jerks.
Amen.
Really, I agree. I totally agree with you. And Jason wants to give a melody to you. He wants to sing a song to you.
No. Thank you very much for letting us talk.
We gotta move on. Thank you.
We did have one coming from caller 8844. Please state your name.
I'm a reporter with the, hi, this is Alicia Robinson. I'm a reporter with the LA Daily News and the Southern California News Group. I appreciate your taking questions. Just wanted to ask real quickly, Mayor, you had mentioned earlier that basically the city got kind of a last minute memo from someone with the health department indicating that you could not have your fireworks show. Can you tell me quickly just what was the time frame of when you got that message and who it came from, or sort of how the city was notified?
Hey, Allison, you should have that in front of you, do you?
I do. And I'm pulling it up. Please stand by. It was the letter you're talking about from Ms. Ferrer. Is that what you're talking about, Mr. Mayor?
Yes. No, not the letter from Ms. Ferrer. From the actual order.
Oh, the actual order, that was June 29th. The reopening safer at work and in the community for control of COVID-19, temporary closure of public beaches, and it goes on, the name of the order. And among other things, it prohibited all fireworks shows in order to avoid congregation of crowds.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
Of course.
Okay, can we get back to the barbecue? With my
Andrea, are
family.
there any other
Nobody
public
else is here.
No, there is no one else that has raised their hand to speak.
Okay.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. We will re-adjourn. What you're going to have to finish it for me, Allison. I don't have any notes here.
Our next meeting is July 14th, 2020 at 5:00 p.m. at via Zoom, we believe.
And Larry, you need to negotiate your salary with Jason. Don't, he's pretty good at just forgetting that part, okay? Great, thank you. Hey, everybody, have a great 4th of July. This is really, I guess, what Independence Day is all about. I think we're better for it, not less for it. God bless. Meeting's adjourned.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.